Okay, this is Randy Smith. I'm here with Joe Wyatt, and we're at the Montage Music Hall in Rochester, New York, and we are interviewing right now Kurdt Vanderhoof and Ronny Munroe of Metal Church. So first off, a fan-submitted question. Rick Van Dongen from Newark would like to know if you guys miss the 80s as much as he does.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, because metal was a lot more popular, but no, because MTV ruined everything. So that's my feelings about the 80s. And the 80s were great for music and everything, but MTV didn't help.
No, not at, I firmly agree with that.
Because it became suddenly, instead of a musical expression, it became a visual expression, and I don't think rock and roll was really meant to do that.
And it turned into the decade of decadence because of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bands got signed to the way they looked, not if they were any good.
Yeah, when I first saw the first Poison cover, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But look how huge they got. But
yeah, but you know, not everybody was willing to go through Maybelline to
right. Exactly.
make it big.
Along the same lines, do you prefer the 80s as opposed to today as a music business? Or
good
even
question.
like the technology and MP3s as opposed to vinyl? And
yeah, well, I'm a big analog fan. I'm a big vinyl collector, just because it sounds better, and the whole experience, I think, is lost on a CD and with downloads. But the way the industry is now, and it took me a while to get to this point, has a lot to do with why we're out here doing this now, is the fact that the way the industry is now, the good side of it is that it allows a band of our age to still be out there doing it legitimately, without having the filter of the record companies anymore, with some kid, you know, who doesn't know anything about music saying he lives, he dies, this band, oh, they're over 30, they're done, let's move on to the next thing, something like that. We're direct artist to fans now, and that gives us a longevity. There's no expiration date on us anymore.
Right,
and
absolutely.
So that's the great thing about the new music industry. It's eliminated a lot of the Klingon and the leeches and the aspects of the business that ruined it. For me, one of the reasons I was kind of got disillusioned with it and left,
right,
you know, is all that's gone now. So now, once I learned to embrace this new way of doing things, it's allowed us to be, you know, continue on to do this indefinitely.
Right.
So, which is that's great.
That's a good thing.
how did you get hooked up with Rat Pack Records?
Joe O'Brien from Rat Pack put out my first solo CD, and second I'm doing a third with him, and he did such a great job. When Kurdt and I talked about it, I brought it up and said that we need some help with promo and whatnot, and they talked and basically became fast friends, and that's kind of how that whole thing happened.
Yeah, and they're great. And Joe O'Brien, they're really good people.
I'm so glad they put this record out, because this record is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And again, that's a nice segue too, because okay, the new album's Generation Nothing. How long's the tour been going on at this point?
We're just kind of finishing up or starting our third week. So
Okay,
a couple of
cool.
weeks. Yeah.
Nice. Show's going really good?
Shows are going great. The weather sucks, but the shows are going great.
I hear that.
Is the response more like the old school people? Are there a lot of kids?
There's a lot of old original fans that are bringing their kids.
Oh,
That's a good
cool.
thing, definitely.
Bring them
Absolutely.
up right.
Yes.
Yes!
Or ruin them right.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of
Same thing.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yes. What initially, you guys kind of split for a while a few years ago. What got you guys back into the studio to work on a new album?
Well, kind of what we talked about earlier, kind of the whole aspect of doing things the quote-unquote new way, doing it all ourselves,
right,
on my label with Rat Pack Records, and being in complete control of it. That made the whole thing seem much, much more appealing than doing it the way we were doing it before, which with labels and getting in advance,
exactly,
and never seeing another penny, you know, and if something's going wrong, like where's the promo or what's this going, or something happening, you know, call Germany, you know, and just like that whole thing got really old. And again, also too, because the new music industry, the record companies, you know, they're dying. They're kind of a thing, you know, record company in the old sense is not really happening, so we didn't have a whole lot of support in that respect. I mean, nobody did. So that initially, for me anyway, was kind of the catalyst to started thinking about how to do this again and do it completely on our terms. Made the whole thing seem very, very appealing, and that was for me, that was the catalyst of it. And then the offer to do the 70,000 tons of metal.
Right.
You know, second time in a row, it's like, you know, that would be a great place to get back to, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, album title, where do you get the name? What's the inspiration for that?
Well, it's basically, it's not necessarily about an age group, it's more about a mindset. It's more kind of looking at the fact that the downside of the digital age and technology today, where kids especially now, everything they do is virtual, it's not real, it's fake. Their friends are fake. Their music is definitely fake.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know? And, you know, even their activities are fake. Everything they do, they're walking around like this. Like, you know, they go home, they're sitting in front of a screen. Nothing they do is real. And that's kind of about the ramifications of that, of a life that's lived virtually, you know, not actually.
Very cool.
And that's what it's about. And it's not necessarily about an age group, because there's a lot of people our age.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually kind of sorry to say I contribute to that a little bit.
We all do to a point.
It's not a knock on today's youth. It's just, it is what it
It's
is.
an
Yes.
observation. It's more a commentary on it, you know.
Yeah, it's,
Except to
you
a
know,
certain point, then there's some, it's a knock on it to a certain degree.
We still remember what it's like to come home from school and go play a game of football or something,
Go
yeah.
outside. You say, what are you going to play tennis?
I remember what it was like to come home and hope to find a cassette tape in the mail
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then
to go trade with someone else.
What are those?
Yeah,
Randy's gonna bring somebody to do that.
8-track, oh my god.
well, those sucked.
Yeah, they sure freaking did.
You couldn't put demos on 8 tracks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Or
There you go.
So, touring, where do you go from here for this year?
For this year or
Sure.
this tour after today?
Well, this tour and maybe a little after, so what do you got coming
The
up?
next show is in New York, in Brooklyn. We got a day off, thank God.
Nice.
See if we can make it there, depending on the weather. But we're going to be doing a kind of another record that's going to be kind of a surprise. We're kind of working that out right now.
Cool.
And we're going to Europe a couple of times to do some festivals.
Nice.
And yeah, we're going in the end of April, and then we're going again at the end of June.
Very cool. And,
what were some of your influences as a singer?
in the early days, Ian Gillan was a huge influence.
Oh, yeah.
David Byron, Uriah Heep, of course, Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson, Dio. I used to listen to a lot of Motown with my mom and things
Cool.
like that. So just anybody who could really carry a tune was an influence.
And like nowadays, what are some of your favorite bands?
You know, I'm liking Winery Dogs a lot right now. John Karabi, he's doing some cool stuff. He's on Rat Pack.
yep.
And there's a lot of upcoming new bands like Steel Wing and White Wizard.
Yeah, we're familiar with them. They're cool, yeah.
Kind of bringing that old school metal back.
Actually saw them here a few years ago.
But I listen to a lot of different stuff, not just metal. I listen to a lot of everything.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Diversity's a good thing.
it is.
So, duet. If you could choose anybody to have a duet with, what would be your ultimate?
I would have been Ronnie James Dio.
Absolutely. Very cool. Oh,
I
moving.
also have another question that came from a former host of the show. I was wondering how the cover of Hanging in the Balance came about, if you have any idea.
I know who did it, and that was one of the reasons the band broke up.
Really?
Bad management. Well, that's what killed metal churches. You know, a lot of bad business decisions,
Right.
bad management, and very unscrupulous former managers, and all that kind of stuff. And that last album cover, yeah, it was just like, are you really, really? I wasn't in the band at the time, so I saw that and I'm like, wow, good luck with that, guys. You know,
So that really wasn't a band decision, that was a management decision?
Hell no. That was manager coming, hey, I got your album cover done, what do you think? You know, and of course it's too late to do anything about it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
see it when it's already gone to press.
And the thing is, that album is amazing.
Well, thank you, yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah, but that album cover is the
cover,
worst. Well, then also the wonderful Human Factor album cover too. You know, that's horrible. You know,
But it's not as bad as Hanging
that's
in the
not as
Balance.
bad. It got progressively worse.
At least
you know.
it has the band on it. It's to the point. It's like, oh yeah, there's Metal Church.
Yeah, right.
And then you listen to it and you're like, this album's great.
Yeah.
But when Hanging in the Balance came out, I mean, I was in radio and it came to me and I went, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
And then listened to it and it was like impressed with the album. But the album cover, I think, held it
Oh
back.
yeah, oh absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's what we thought too when we saw it. You know, it's like, oh wow, this is gonna help. No, not.
So actually, this is something I've wondered for a long time, because I always felt that your band was like horribly underrated. You know, you should have been bigger.
We
to
are
me.
the Rodney
Yeah.
Dangerfields of metal.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you know, I was. You know, do you have any theories as to why
Oh,
that
yeah,
was?
well, absolutely. I mean, initially, and because of all the lineup changes, for one thing.
Right.
That's definitely, you know, a huge part of it. That would be initially, but then a lot of it's bad business decisions. You know, that kind of kept the band from getting right where it needed to go. You know, hooking up with the wrong people in that department. You know, and that kept us from, you know, going down the right paths. You know, that's pretty much what it took.
Yeah.
So the lineup changes initially, but the band could have recovered from that if people in the offices and things like that at the time would have handled things correctly.
So do you think it was a mistake to go to Elektra, or?
Oh no, this is post Elektra. No, to leave Elektra was a mistake. Yeah.
And then going back to the first album, what about Highway Star?
Yeah,
Was it
Josh
your,
wanted to know about that one.
idea to do that? Or
We
was
all
that-
did it. I mean, it was one of those things because we were a cover band first for a while till we got the right lineup, and it was one of the tunes that we thought would it just kind of happened. It wasn't thought out too much. It was just kind of, yeah, let's record that. That's great. Okay, done. You know, I mean, that's about as far as we thought things through at that point.
Yeah, that's cool, because a lot of times back in the 80s or whatever, everyone thought there had to be a cover song on your album to get
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was something that you guys...
Nah, we didn't know what we were doing. We did that first album in like 10 days. You know, we recorded it basically live. We didn't know what we were doing. We
Right.
just went in, and Terry Date was the staff engineer at the time, and we just kind of went in there and made a record. You know,
Very
and
cool.
It was like, you know, recorded in 3 days, mixed it in 4 or 5, you know, after everybody got off work, and that was it.
Thrash metal history.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
was classic,
Yes.
along with The Brave.
Oh, cool, thanks.
See, the dark was more my entrance point.
Oh, yeah?
So I was, you know, watching children play. The Pray video is what got my attention.
Oh, I see.
Initially, Headbangers Ball. And I'm like, I need to hear more of this. And yeah, I freaking love that album.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Who came up with the logo for, not necessarily just the Metal Church name, but with the guitar?
That? The Scrims?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Oh,
my old
yeah.
guitar. And that just was, it ended up, gave it to a photographer, and we talked about how to put it in different kind of scenes. It was just kind of one of the, well, a friend of mine had drawn a picture for me from when I was starting the band in San Francisco, and it was a cemetery, and it was like guitars as gravestones. I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. That's pretty metal, you know. And then I had that guitar, and it was an Explorer copy, and we thought we'd just use it for the photo session, and had a real good photographer in Seattle who kind of took it and aged it and kind of created this, you know, cemetery-looking kind of scene
Nice.
for it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of it. You know, again, at that time, it wasn't. We were too young to think things through too much. You know, we were just kind of, you know, excited, full of energy, and trying, oh, that's cool, let's do this. You know, we didn't we didn't know that there was wrong ways to do things, or, you know, stuff like that. We just, if we liked it, we did it. You know.
Very cool.
That's very iconic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because
It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It's
Definitely a cool
It's one of
logo
those images
guitar.
that kind of burns itself.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Where can people find Metal Church on the internet?
Oh,
Yes.
metalchurchmusic.com.
Okay. Cool.
And there's
There's a Facebook
Oh,
page.
Facebook,
yes.
Twitter, yeah. We're
All that
learning.
fun stuff.
We're trying to get social media.
There you
we're
go.
trying to be Generation Nothing.
Small doses.
Small doses.
Small
Generation Little Bit.
Will the new album that you're recording also be on Rat Pack?
Yeah.
Very cool.
You don't have like a timetable?
Spring sometime.
Spring-ish. Yeah.
Spring, you mean like next year? Because we're not going to have one this year?
This year, yeah, right, exactly. Because this is it, right?
Yeah, we're living spring right now.
No,
which is still winter.
yeah, we're doing things on my label, and we're going to keep it that way so we stay in control. Working with Rat Pack for a considerable amount of time, because working with them has been great. So.
Cool. So, I got one more, unless you got.
I think I'm all set.
You're all set? All right, I'm going to throw this one out. I haven't done this in a while. If Buddy Holly had survived the plane crash, would Elvis Presley still be the king of rock and roll?
I guess they call Elvis the king of rock and roll, and I'm not sure because I'm not a fan.
Right.
I would go across the street to see Elvis, personally. I do respect what he did,
Absolutely.
but I can't stand it. Buddy Holly, I can stand it. I'm not a big fan of 50s rock.
Right.
60s rock I love. As soon as the Beatles hit, that's where it started for me.
Yeah.
When they started writing their own songs and started getting out of just the basics of it.
I've always said I thought they got better when they started doing drugs.
Oh, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they
Yes.
should have continued.
They should have.
Don't do drugs, kid.
Unless you're in a band.
Unless you're in a band. Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah,
We're
that's,
helping.
We're helping society. We're contributing to Generation Nothing.
Generation Munchies.
You have no idea how fitting that is right now.
Other than that wisdom, you guys have anything else to add?
That was not a confession.
I'm done.
Just thank you for all the years of support for the band. And
awesome.
right now we're out here kind of struggling to get through this tour and all that, but we're making the dates, and we just appreciate everyone coming out to the shows. It's been great. So
Yeah, the struggle is just traveling, trying to do this in the wintertime.
Exactly.
And we got out here and suddenly, Titan hit.
Yeah, oh
And
yeah.
of course, we're right in the Northeast.
And I'll tell you, it's something, okay, as a lifelong resident of upstate New York, this is the worst winter we've had in
So
a
who
long
comes to town? Metal Church
Oh.
comes to town. Yeah.
Metal Frost.
Oh, I should tell you the Doro Pesh story from last year. we can include that off the interview, though. Anyhow, yes, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome getting to talk to you guys. Like I said, much respect and love for your band.
Thank you very much.
Many years.
Check out the CDs.
Check out the
them
CD,
live.
Generation Nothing. Definitely go see them when they come to your town. And yeah, this is Randy. I'm out.
Cheers.